everyone, Mindy here. I'm going to show you how to make edits to the pages on your site. First, I'm going to go through a little intro on the back end, and then I'll go into the edit portion. So here's your site, and how you're going to get to the back end is you'll go to the RileyCenter.org/wp-admin. And then you're going to log in with the information that I will send to you. Okay, so here is the dashboard. This is going to be the back end of your site. So you'll notice that there's a bunch of different tabs on the left-hand side. And the main things that you want to focus on are pages and posts. Pages are going to be things that are stationary, like your programs, services, about us page. These are things that don't change very often. Your posts are going to be things that are frequent, like your events in your news section. So, whenever you go to a page, well, this will bring you first off to every page that's on your site. And you'll notice that there are a couple that say draft. This means that it's not an active page, so you don't have to mess with that. It was just a page that was active at one time and is now not viewable to the public. So these aren't really any pages you have to worry with. So you'll see that there is a dash next to some of the pages below this top one. These are going to be your parent pages, the ones that don't have a dash, and the ones underneath it are your child pages. So all of these pages are related to the About Us link. So even on your site itself, you'll see the About Us and all of these drop downs. That's just what that means, is that the About Us is a main navigation link and that all of these are related to that link. It just makes it easier to find whenever you're in the Pages dashboard. So whenever we look at a page, go to the About Us. This is what it looks like on the back end side. And you can make this a little bit larger. So on every page you have a header image, you have a title, some content, and then you'll also have this box with an image icon in the center. This is your gallery. And underneath that we have the staff and consultants area. What this does down here is your staff is going to be a post item. Whenever you add a post and link it to the staff, it will show up in this area. And I'll go into more detail about that later. But say you just want to come in here and you realize that something's misspelled, or you want to change a word, add another sentence. What you're going to do is you will just click in the content area and you can just start typing. This is me typing. Okay, so I've added that there, and here is going to be your two things you want to pay attention to. You have a preview button up here at the right, and then you have an update button. Preview is what you always want to look at before you update. Update means that it is now live and viewable to the public. Preview is just something that you will see before the changes go live. So I want to preview this page. Okay, and you'll see that This Is Me Typing has added on there. So whenever you look at the page itself, you see that here's the header image. Here is the title that we added underneath the header image. Here is the content, here's your gallery, and then here are your staff pictures. So the overall format shouldn't change any. If anything, you might want to adjust some of the gallery images, or you might want to change some of the wording in the content section. Okay, so let me go back to the page, and whenever you preview, you'll notice it will open into a separate tab so you can go directly back to that page. So I am going to take out my placeholder text I just added, and I'm going to just update it to make sure that nothing changed. If you do make a change and you preview it and you don't like it and you don't hit update, or you don't take the change back out, there will come a link the next time you open that page that'll say view the autosave. So every time you make a change to a page, if you don't update it, it will have an autosave function. And that's just if you were meant to update it and you forgot, it'll still be there and it won't lose those changes. So I just wanted to go ahead and update to make sure that the autosave isn't in place. Okay, so the gallery. Like I said, this is anytime you see this box with the dotted outline and the icon in the center, this is going to means that it's a gallery on the page. And how you edit that is you will click on the box and then click again on this edit gallery icon, and it'll bring up its own dashboard. So here are the 5 pictures that we have in place on the About Us page. You'll notice that we have the column set to 5 across, it's set to random order, and it's set to media file. And what that means is media file makes it show up as a gallery. So whenever I click on the picture, it doesn't link to another page. It actually links to a lightbox feature where you can see the page individually. And this is how you can filter through it. So you want to make sure every time you add a gallery that it's set to media file. There are other options. Attachment page means that it'll go to a separate page, and then none is that it won't link to anything at all. We set the columns to 5 across so that way the thumbnails aren't too large and it kind of displays nicely across the page with the sidebar. And random order means that every time you go to that page, it'll show up in a different order each time. So even though when I open it, it shows up in this order, whenever I view the page again, it'll show up in a different order. So you'll see that these 5 are the ones across, and then it'll switch. And that's just so it looks different every time. Okay, if you want to change a picture, you can hover over the picture and hit the X and it will remove that image. If you want to add a picture, I suggest sticking with the 5 across since there's so many pictures on the site. I just did 5 on every page to kind of give it a cohesive look. So if you take one off and hit the X, it will remove it, and then if you want to add another one, you have 2 ways to do that. You can either upload a file from your computer, so make sure it's on upload, select files, and you can just navigate to that file on your desktop, or you can go to the media library. Media library is every picture on your site. It's every file, it's every PDF. So there are a ton of pictures on here. Sometimes it even takes a minute to load because there are so many. Well, let's see if I can get it to load. Here it is. So sometimes you kind of have to click back and forth. There's so many pictures on here that it does take a few minutes to load. So you'll notice that this is every picture. Here are all the employee pictures. Here's the programs and services, and some of them are even going to be on here more than once because they're in more than one location. So if you want to pick another picture to go on the About Us page, all you have to do is select that picture and you'll hit Add to Gallery. So we don't want to change anything, but that is how you can add an additional picture to that gallery on the page. So you've made your changes, you're ready to see what they look like. You will hit Update Gallery, then you will then go back to Preview. It'll open up in the same tab as before, and you can preview the changes that you've made in the gallery. If you want to adjust the staff down here, what I have it set to is that there are 13 staff members currently active. If there becomes more or less, you will want to either delete them completely from the staff area, or you can hide them to where they're not viewable. But the one thing is that this section right here links to this category staff, and that just means whenever I made that post, I select one of two categories, or I guess one of three categories. You can select events, you can select staff, and you can also select news. There are 13 staff members, so that means that there are, right here where it says post equals 13, that just means that it will show all 13 staff members, and the category is staff, and that just shows that it won't show up anything like events or news in that section. It will only show up the posts that are in that category, and I'll show you more about that whenever I get to the post section. So this is kind of the general layout of the page, and whenever you're editing, the main thing to remember is that there are two ways to edit. There is a visual editor and there's a text editor. Visual means that you get this kind of Word document look where it's easy to see where all your features are. You know, you can clearly see what this picture looks like. This title text means that I wanted it to show up underneath this picture instead of on top. And the same thing with the content. You know, you see the direct layout. Whenever you go to text, that is the code view, so it'll look like a bunch of gibberish basically. You know, this is your picture, this is your content, but you don't get the same visual effect as you do obviously in the visual mode. So make sure you stay on visual. It'll help you when making these changes. Okay, so that should be everything for the About page. And let's look at another page. So for the Board of Directors page, I'm not going to go through every page, but I'm just going to go through a few so you can see the back end. This is all just text. This right here is bolded and italicized. So whenever you're viewing something in the visual, it'll tell you, just like in Word, what is being used for the text. So if you want to bold something that's not already bolded, all you'll do is you will highlight it and hit bold. Same thing with italics. This is bullet points. This is numbered bullet points. Here's your alignments for your text. And if you want to add a link, same thing. You will highlight, click the link, you will add the URL, make it open in a new window, and then add that link. This is to unlink, and there's a lot of other features, but we don't necessarily have to get into that. I just wanted you to see that editing the text is very simple. You, again, every time make sure you preview. Whenever you're happy with your changes, you will then hit update. Okay, so let's go to another page. Some of the programs pages have colored links with the PDFs, and that's just something that I want to show you what that looks like. So let me just get to it. And you'll see that there are 5 pages, 5 lists of page names. So this is how you'll go to the next one. Some of them, like I said, are just drafts. We don't delete those in case we ever have to come back to them, but they're not viewable. They're only viewable on the back end. Okay, so here is the Early Ed page. And like I said before, we have your header image, we have the content, and then as you scroll down, you'll notice that this page looks a little different. It has these tab things. What this does is this helps show the page in a view that makes it not as long. You still have all of your content, but it doesn't have it all directly one under another. It has a tabbed feature. And what I mean by that is whenever you look at the page itself, you know, here's your header, here's your content, and then here are your tabs. And it puts it in a block format to where you can select the tabs on the side and it filters through different content. This helps keep your page from being extremely long, but also includes all of the necessary content on there. So whenever you look at the back end of it, you will see that this has tab group vertical title. That's exactly just what it means. It means that this is the title. So if you needed to adjust additional early ed information, you can adjust that title. Anything that you see that has these brackets and quotes around it, unless it's absolutely necessary, I would leave these things alone, because if you accidentally delete one of the brackets or one of the quotes or, you know, the equal sign and you don't realize it, it can mess up the whole format. It won't work anymore. But I just wanted to show you that if you needed to, things that say title, equal, quotes, this is going to be the information that shows. So whenever you go to the tabbed content, daily activities include will be this content right here. And it's just like with editing any other text on a page. You'll just go and type it, the changes that you want to make. Whenever you're happy, you'll preview. If you like the preview, then you will update. So the things in quotes again are the titles. These are going to be the tabs on the side. So here are your titles, and then here's your content. And on the back end, here's your title, and then here is your content. So like I said before, some of this stuff you probably won't have to edit. Pages are things that you won't edit very often, but if you need to, this is where it's located. Here's your gallery again for this specific page, and then here is the bottom content. So whenever we go back to early ed, we have the above content, the tabbed area, the gallery, the bottom content. Okay, so all I did for this title down here is I just typed it in there and made it bold. There's nothing special about this title. But underneath it, we have these links. And they kind of have different features. You can make them bigger, smaller, or you can specify the color. So if any of this needs to be adjusted, I can show you how to do that. It's not complicated, but it's got a few more steps involved. So whenever you view, you don't see anything else. All you see is that this is a clickable link. And this view all program calendars, that probably won't change because it goes directly to the calendar page. Okay, so this is going to be your program pages. And one thing that you can also notice is that whenever I'm logged in, there's this tab bar at the top. And it says, Howdy Melody. It'll say, whoever's logged in, I'm logged into Melody's name right now. So it'll say, Howdy, whoever. And you notice that it has edit page. It has, you know, add new, post pages. And then you can also hover over the RileyCenter and you'll see that you can go directly to the dashboard. This helps because, like we saw earlier, there were 5 different pages of page list names. So if you don't remember where in-home therapy is, and you don't want to have to go back to the dashboard, go to pages, and then search for that name, what you can do is you can log in, you can visit the page. So whenever you're logged in, you hover over the RileyCenter, visit site, and you'll see that you know that you're logged in whenever the toolbar is up here, whenever you're on the page. And then you can go to the page that you're wanting to edit. So if I want to edit in-home therapy, I can go to that page, and then up here at the top, I can go directly to edit page, and it'll bring me to the back end. And that just kind of helps time-wise. Instead of having to hunt through the page names, you can actually just locate it from the site and go to edit page, make those edits here, preview, update, and it kind of saves time, especially whenever you have a lot of pages. It gets time consuming having to flip through each page to figure out where it's located. Okay, so some other things to look at is that there is this flicker stream on your sidebar. Every page has a sidebar unless it is a full width page. And what I mean by that is, I believe these are, yes, the two programs pages, the outpatient services and the educational services. These are actual full width pages. We don't need the sidebar on them because you're going to be redirected to another page. But what that sidebar is this shows your most recent posts. Now posts, not pages. It'll show events and news and special announcements, things like that. Up here, these are going to be your 5 most recent, and then it's going to show your Flickr stream. Whenever you add pictures to your Flickr stream, it will show the 6 most recent, and you can click on these and they can filter. And then what they can also do is you can go to older photos and it'll show some other ones that were just added that are also recent. And it shows 6 every time, so it's not too long. And you'll see that here's 2, and then these are set side by side. It's called a masonry filter, so for pages that are vertical, it doesn't go all the way down on the sidebar. It kind of helps save space. And the same thing with the Facebook links that we are going to add is that it will show your most recent Facebook posts down here. And there's nothing you have to do to that. You just have to make edits in that social media. So in Flickr, whenever you make those edits, this is automatic. There's nothing else you have to do. Same thing with the Facebook links. Whenever you add things to Facebook, it will just show up automatically. There's not anything else that you have to add on to. So some other pages, your news page, like I said before, this is going to show posts, your most recent posts that you have. I have it set to, let me view, let's view the back end of it. I have it set to, I thought it was going to say back here, but it doesn't. I have it set to every post that you make. So whenever you add a special announcement, when you add an event, when you add a new employee, all of that is going to show up in this news page. This is just updated, frequent information to the general public. It's not any specific one thing. It's just so if someone clicks on news, they will see that there's more to it than just events, you know, like this generous donation shows up, and as you get control over the site, you will add more things to it. But here are also all of your other pages, the newsletters, National Autism, all of these links that you wanted on here, they're also viewable. The newsletter pages, they go to a separate page completely. The parent staff page, this is the one that has the login information. And then the community newsletter, there's not anything currently on there. So just know that the parent staff one is the one that does have the login page. And this is how you can set the password. I think the password is parent right now. And obviously that is something that, that you can change. So how you change the password is you will go, whenever you log into the page, you'll go to Edit Page. And over here on the far right, you'll see where it says Visibility, Password Protected, Edit. So you will go to Edit. Oh, and the password was staff, not parent. So you can change this to anything you want. but this is where you will change that password. And the same thing for the employee login page. You will locate that page. You will go all the way to the right where it says password protected, hit edit, and then you are able to change that password however you see fit. And you can also add different things to that page. So that covers, I believe, all of the pages. I guess we can, let's view the donate page real fast. So on the donate page, you'll see that it has just content, doesn't have any images, and then it has this PayPal section at the bottom. Whenever you look at the back end of the page, you're going to see what's called shortcode. And shortcode is information that's inside these brackets. So it says CP donation key equals 2. And that sounds like a bunch of gibberish, but I'll show you exactly what it means. So this shortcode you will leave alone. That's what makes the PayPal information set up correctly. There's a couple of different PayPal, I guess, events set up, but this one specifically is set up to show only, go to view page. It is set to be a minimum of $5, but you can adjust this to any amount of donation that you want, and it'll link directly to the PayPal account. So if I say, here's your donation, it's $5, I'll get redirected to the RileyCenter Behavioral and Educational Center. You'll see that it's $5. I have to log in to do my PayPal, and then after that you will then be redirected back to a thank you page that basically says thank you for donating, this is what your donation goes to, that kind of thing. So on the contact page, here is your map. Here's all of your information. This is going to be your contact form that goes to office@therileycenter.org. And then here are some more, before we looked at tabbed content on the programs pages. This is called an accordion. And what it does is it opens when you click on it and it closes when you click back. So it opens and it closes. The same thing with how to help. It opens and it closes. And you'll notice that on this specific page, if you go to the contact page, oops, all of your information isn't viewable directly right here. So it has this up here, this latitude, longitude, that's your map. That's the coordinates to the office. Then you will have the RileyCenter information that shows up in this box. Underneath that, you have frequently asked questions, and what that is this is just the title. Underneath it, there's a thing called a block ID. And what this is over here on the left, there's these things called blocks. And that shows the accordion information in separate. It just kind of shortens this page on the back end from editing. So this block ID is labeled Fact Accordion. So whenever you're on the page and you hover, it'll say Edit Block, and that means edit this information right here. So on the Contact Us page, it has the title, and then it has the block. The same thing down here. It has a title and then it has a block. So if I want to just edit this right here, I will click Edit Block. And here's all of your information. So just like the tabbed version on the program page, you have a bracket, the accordion item title. This is going to be your title. This is what actually shows up on the page in between these quotes. Then you have the information or the content that shows up whenever you click on the title. So here's the title. Here's the content that shows up. Same thing. Here's the title in between the quotes. and then underneath it, this is the content that shows up. So unless you have to go in and something is incorrect or needs to be updated, again, this is probably something that you won't have to actually look at or change. And this one also shows the how to help accordion underneath. So all of this right here is under this one block. And so if you're confused on how to get there to actually make the edit, just log in, go to the Contact Us page, located right here, and then you can hover over this information and it'll say edit this block. So that's kind of the easiest way if you're not sure how to get to that content. So again, here's the block, and it has all of this content. The title, the accordion title. The accordion, what this means is that this means that this is an accordion function, and then it breaks into each individual accordion item with the title. And then you'll see that same thing with employment and donate. Okay, so again, this is probably not something that you're going to need to edit, but if you want to, or if it's something that you think you can do on your own, this is how you will locate it. On the contact page, there's actually two of the same page. It's what it's doing is, I know that whenever we first set up the Contact Us page, it just had Glenwood underneath it. So what this is this Contact Our Office isn't actually a page. It just is a link that leads to this page. So there's Contact Us and there's Contact Our Office, and these are the same thing. It's just one page, but Contact Our Office is a link to this page. And I think that was Melody's recommendation, so that way people will make sure that they don't just click on Glenwood Autism, that they actually go to Contact Our Office. So just so you know, if you're looking for a Contact Our Office page, there isn't one. It is really only the same thing as Contact Us. And how you can tell is up here in the URL, it says pages/contact us. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too confusing. I was just wanting you to see that there really is only one contact page. So don't look for a Contact Our Office page. Okay, I'm going to end this video, and in the next one I'm going to talk about posts, which are your events, news, and special announcements.